Well, welcome everyone to the new moon call. And this is the Libra new moon. And many of you know that the waning period, the dark moon phase, and the new moon phase, I just love this time of the moon phase so much more than going towards the full moon. Okay. I'm just I just love it so much. My entire body says, oh, I can exhale now. I've been inhaling, I've been taking in, I've been, doing a lot and putting myself out there. And then now I have the permission from the universe, the cosmos, from the moon, and my inner knowing to slow down, to settle in, and to sink in to my knowing space. So this is a beautiful time of the month. And also, I'll talk about this a little bit later too, but we are in the fourth phase. We're coming in. We're like just on the edge of starting the fourth phase of the lunar solar calendar. Okay, so we've been waxing and waxing, going and going, and we have gone through the first stage of the waning after building up in the summer, and then we're starting to shed and shed, right? Seasonally too. So keep that in mind too. We're going into the holiday season where in many cultures it's a very busy time, but it does go somewhat against our true nature. So this is when we can have inner conflicts, right? We want to be in the stillness, the quiet, but it's hard to because the world is LED lights, Christmas trees already being sold, and it's not even Halloween yet. Okay, so know that there's this really crazy, out of sync stuff going on all around us. So it's your job to know that, okay, we're officially entering, pretty close to entering into the time of darkness, the stillness, silence, and the time to close your shops, basically, in a way. But that's not what the world around us is going to support you on. So find ways to do that for yourself as much as you can. And I wanted to start with just a short meditation. And I don't even know if I want to call it a meditation, but it's just kind of embodying this space right now. So if you want to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable, if you feel like, okay, I'm grounded enough to close my eyes, go ahead and do that. If not, it's no big deal either. I like actually open eye meditation quite a bit. But let's just start with settling into your seat, your hands facing down, so palms are down. And we want to embody this today, this new moon energy that's coming in. First, through the space between your eyebrows. And see if you could relax that region. And yes, it is connected to your third eye, but it's also the area of our bodies that we unconsciously tense up and hold that tension that you're not quite sure where that's even coming from. Because sometimes you'll notice your tension in your fingers or your hands or your feet, but it's hard to notice that tension between your eyebrows. See if you could relax that from the inside. Like your third eye is closing the eyelid. And you're soaking in that darkness that is beginning to take over your body. It's the delicious silence in the darkness. Slowly move that stillness and a natural resting and relaxation down to your cheeks and in your jaw. That's another area of our bodies that we hold. You can even create slight space between the upper lip and the lower lip. Like if I were to slip in like a thin silk or rice paper, you can just place it right between your lips. And notice the spaciousness inside your mouth. And in moving our attention, the stillness, the relaxation, and the resting down to your shoulders. Let's see if your shoulders can become a little bit more away from your jawline. So what my yoga and Ayurveda teacher used to say to me, don't wear your shoulders like your earrings. So you're just dropping those earrings. Spaciousness again between your jaw and your shoulders. Like those beautiful ballet dancers' long neck. And see if you could feel the spaciousness in your lungs. When you stretch your lungs out, they can actually fill up the space of a tennis court. It's huge. They are huge. See if you could become more spacious in there. Next, drop that relaxation down towards your belly. This can be the hardest and most challenging space to relax and introduce the spaciousness. Because we protect our belly area. All animals do, including us. Just imagine a Buddha belly. Imagine a cute, chubby little baby's belly, just full of happiness and joy. We still have that within us. So tap into that, the baby belly. See if you can find spaciousness in there too. Even though our gut has all kinds of organs and lymph nodes and all these things, vascular systems and hepatic portal veins and so many things just jam packed in there. There's still some space in between. If it helps to place your hands to check in with your belly area to see if you are softening that area, go ahead and do that. Like I said, this can be the most challenging space. New moon is the time of inner spaciousness. And see if you could relax your glutes a little bit more. Let your gluteus muscles kind of melt onto the surface of where you're sitting. Find spaciousness within your pelvic floor and the pelvic bowl. Can you feel the space between your right hip and the left hip? Can you find that spaciousness, the emptiness? Let's relax into that. That's also a very challenging space too. To even know that you can actually create spaciousness there. It's there, it's available for you. And let's bring the relaxation down your legs, both legs. See if you could bring your attention to the little hollow space behind your knees. Many of us don't pay much attention to that space right behind your knees. Our bodies have these spacious areas along with the density of matters too. See if you can feel that little opening that you can breathe in and out of. So you're not just breathing in and out of your nostrils, but you're actually breathing in and out of that little space behind the knees. And take your attention down to now bottom of your feet, the little arches of your feet. See if you could breathe in and out of those arches. Imagine if you're standing at the beach, sandy beach, ocean waves coming in and going back into the depth of the ocean, back and forth. You're standing at the beach and you're breathing in and out of the arches of your feet. And you can actually feel the bubbles coming out of those arches. Check back into your belly. Is your belly relaxed? Or did that tighten up again? See if you can relax that. Can you feel spaciousness in your lungs? Between your ribs? Can you feel the spaciousness inside your mouth? And between your eyebrows? And slowly coming back. Slowly opening your eyes, letting the light enter in to those spaciousness that you've just created. So that's the kind of sensations you want to maintain in the waning and the new moon phase. And with that feeling, I hope you are a little more grounded. Let's go into a little bit more about this October 21st new moon in Libra, and it's on Tuesday. And let's talk about this sign of Libra first, because moon signs are very, very different from the sun sign of Libra. And I think that's what gets lost in astrology most of the time, is that we just kind of replace the sun sign Libra and interpret it the same way with the moon. And it's really quite different. So I hope you'll get a sense of that today. But let's go through the Libra first. But you might think of Libra in moon and the sun. It's about creating equanimity or fairness, maybe balance, harmony, justice, right? These are some of the words that we use to describe Libra. So think about things are getting balanced, right? But when Libra moon shows up, this is very different, like I said, than the sun sign. And it actually challenges the very notion of maintaining external harmony and balance, because that's what's emphasized, right, when you think about Libra. And this new moon in Libra encourages you actually to look at how you are internally feeling exhausted and tired of maintaining the harmony, balance, and equanimity for everyone else, and maybe for the external world, for the sake of making sure that everyone is happy. Okay, so everybody's equally treated. Everybody is in harmony. So there's just nothing major going on. That this new moon is actually challenging that notion and asking you, how's that going for you? Right? How's that working out for you? Are you exhausted yet from doing all that for so long? And your inner being is you start to kind of, when you tap into that, I'm going to tapping into it a little bit more. I'll have some questions for you that you can ask yourself in the next several days. Is that, your inner being might be a little bit fed up and burnt out on trying to maintain the harmony and balance. So it's important that we take a moment right now to contemplate on what you might be compromising within yourself in order to appease others, fit in, stay obedient. Also, that's a thing that really came up for me. And I realized, my dad passed almost 10 years ago, but there's this like pattern that I keep repeating within myself, like an obedient child who is here to appease my father's needs and my father's expectations. So that kind of came up for me in the last 24 to 48 hours. So I thought that's interesting. That's already kind of preparing me to go much, much deeper in the next coming days and contemplate on, what you're doing to not disturb the balance and harmony and not to make waves. And these could cause, when you kind of stuck in that kind of a pattern, these can cause further exhaustion from trying to please everyone, right? We can get sucked into being over accommodating and not wanting to rock the boat. And because we're a little bit fearful of being ostracized. I mean, that's a deeply first chakra concept. We don't want to be kicked out of our tribe. We don't want to be kicked out for our own belief systems and our ideas. So we tend to go, maybe I won't mention this and I'll just make sure everything is balanced and everything is good. So maybe just pause for a moment within yourself now that you have created some spaciousness inside you. And maybe if you were challenged in some areas or you couldn't feel the spaciousness, maybe some of these things I'm talking about, how much of your actions and reactions and patterns are all about trying to not make waves. But when you do that, you end up upsetting your own rhythm and you create further instability within yourself. And that's the hardest thing because you start to feel that there's this, no matter how much you work on yourself, you're meditating, you're doing the right diet, taking the supplements, you are exercising, you're doing all these things, but it just feels like you're out of rhythm, your own rhythm. And I think many of us are just like, we don't know where to begin to find your own metronome, your own rhythm, your own music. So I think this new moon is so important for all of us to reconnect with, what am I doing to just appease everybody? What are some of the things that I have been doing that's all about external balance and harmony? And like I said, when you continue to feed that, you will create further instability within, and you end up negating yourself and your own truth and your own voice. And you end up rejecting yourself by not, trying to be good to everyone. You end up rejecting you, and you may end up ostracizing your own self. So, rather than focusing on external harmony and fairness and balance, this new moon in Libra is encouraging all of us and encouraging you to show respect for yourself. Show respect for yourself and cultivate harmony and love and beauty within, and find areas of your life, especially your inner life, that feel out of balance and attend to them. Know that, oh, wow, my upper body and lower body are not working together. I just had a friend come over and she asked me to do a healing session. And the first thing I did was I worked on her psoas. And I only worked on one side psoas because I could see that she was very dominant in one side of her body, upper body. And so I worked on the opposite side of the psoas. And my point that I was making to her is that I was reconnecting her upper body and the lower body together, but also the right side and the left side. So she doesn't end up spinning in one spot. Because if you're dominant on one side, okay, and I think in the US you have this kind of a game that you put your forehead on like a big stick or something and you go round and round and around, right? One direction. Um, that's the kind of thing that could end up happening when you are not cultivating harmony within yourself because you could get kind of dominant on one side and you just end up making yourself go in circles. And see if you could create peace within your being and attend to your wholeness, your whole being from the bottom of your feet to the top of your head, and not, you know, maybe just eliminate some of the things and you say, well, I'm not going to work on my third chakra today. Well, I'm just only going to work on my second and fourth, or I'm only going to do the heart opening. Well, the heart opening is really hard to happen if your liver is congested because the hepatic portal vein actually cleans out the blood and feeds that blood back to your heart. So it's very hard to connect with your heart if your liver is congested, right? So it's all so connected. So attend to your whole self, wholeness, and not create further fragmentation. And I will have Chris read one of his the quotes that he reminded me of. That's a really good quote from the one of the Sufis.
So the quote is, when you are still fragmented, lacking certainty, what difference does it make what your decisions are? When you are still fragmented, lacking certainty, what difference does it make what your decisions are?
I hope that makes sense. That the Libra New Moon is quite the almost the opposite side of the Sun in Libra. Okay. And it's no longer about the external balance and focusing so much on how do I create harmony around me. But by doing so, what has that caused you? What is that doing to you in your own psyche and your body, mind, spirit? Okay. And so, but when you start to go somewhat like not against, but you're saying, okay, well, I want to start to focus on my own, respecting my own self and take a look at how do I cultivate harmony within myself. This, can also mean that you may have to face your own inner fear and discomfort by doing that because you'll have to listen to your own voice. You will have to listen to your own thoughts, right? And you have to speak out and speak up. And when others remain silent, you still have to show up for yourself and at times for others too. So it's uncomfortable. This is not the area that many of us are good at. But this is why the new moon energy is so important because it gives you the chance to sit in the silence, in spaciousness, and drop down into your inner knowing space. That's why every month you have the dark moon period and the new moon period. And this is really not the time, everyone, to be pulling out a notebook and writing down what you want to manifest and what you want to get in life. And if you're still stuck in that, I mean, I suppose, I'm sure I'm going to get emails and comments from people that say, how dare you? I've been doing this and I'm going to keep doing my goal setting and intention setting and manifestation lists. And I just don't do any of that on the new moon. I just want you to know that. I just do none of that. I actually try to do nothing because I just want to go inward. That's the only way I can get in touch with my own fear and my own discomfort because that's the only way I can hear myself. And then what happens with the lunar solar calendar places, what they generally do is when the moon begins to have that little sliver of the light on the right side, if you're in the northern hemisphere, that's when you actually sit down and write your intentions for this month. It's not on that total darkness day. It's so precious and it's so fleeting, right? It's just a moment in time. It's just that day. I mean, it's not even that day, right? It's just that moment in time, but just honor that new moon day as the day that you are not thinking about What else can I do? What else can I get? What else can I collect? What else can I receive? But it's just in between receiving and giving. It's between opening and closing. It's that liminal space. So if you want to follow what I do, wait till the little sliver comes up. And that's how the Festival of Lights is actually practiced. So the Festival of Lights is coming up. The Diwali in India is coming up this coming week because in India, they actually celebrate this towards the waning moon phase of the lunar year. So that's why they do it on October 21st. That's when it starts. But it's a 5-day festival. And the first couple of days is really all about cleaning things out, making sure you have space. It's all about spaciousness the first 2 days. It's about purging, it's clearing, it's cleaning. And then on the third day, that's when the sliver of the moonlight you will see in the sky. That's it. That is when the Festival of Lights begins, right? So, and that's celebration of the victory of light. That light has come in. But light comes in the most darkest time of the season of the year, in the lunar snake year. And also, this is just the kind of a, lunar wise, this is the waning period of the lunar time. So the Festival of Lights is really, really important, but they're not writing intentions on the first 2 days. I just want you to know that. So that's something to keep in mind. And I just want to get away from that kind of, practice that just is always about what can I gain and get. And can we shed some stuff of that? Can we shed some of that? And can we mature from that kind of a thinking is how I feel. And speak out and speak up that I talked about, right? That's very, very important. So you're going to begin to think about that. So your intentions might be, these are the things I'm going to start speaking up about. But you don't need to come up with that list right away. What you need to do during the new moon period is to go inward and create space and silence and stillness so that you know what you're going to speak up about when the light starts to shine on that little sliver of the moon. Okay. And these are some of the things that you may want to ask yourself. How much have I been compromising myself to fit in? I mean, to try to fit in has been the biggest challenge for my life, right? But I realized I don't fit in anywhere, so it doesn't matter anymore. But it's a very, very, very child, traumas. It's very ancient emotions for all of us, really. Because if you didn't fit in, if you weren't supported by your tribe, then you wouldn't have lasted, right? So all our ancestors had to deal with that. They all needed to fit in so that you can be on this earth right now. If they didn't fit in, you wouldn't be here, right? Because they wouldn't have had the support to cultivate together the foods, go and get the food, feed the tribe together, and then fight the wars and whatnot to sustain their lives. So fitting in is like a primal concern. But when that becomes too much, that's when we're exhausted. That's when you can't hear what you're supposed to speak up about. So, how much have I been compromising myself to fit in or not to rock the boat? That's a big one. And possibly maybe next question is, what am I compromising just for the sake of balance and harmony? What am I compromising just for the sake of balance and harmony? And maybe if you have a little bit of time and you can stop and, maybe think about this, take an assessment of what you have gained and lost in this lunar year of the snake year. Just make an assessment of it and say, oh, yeah, I've gained these kind of knowledge. Oh, I've gained these friends. I've gained this kind of tools and skills. But these are the things that I let go. I lost it or I surrendered. these are the things I earned and I received, and these are the things I let go and I surrendered. Okay. So these are some of the things to kind of chew on it, let it chew right now, and let it swallow slowly. On the new moon, you're not addressing any of this because you're going to have an internal digestion that is happening at that time. You're not feeding more things to yourself. That goes for the physiology also. You don't want to over consume foods and information during the new moon. So that day of the new moon should generally be kind of a light fasting kind of a day. So you fast from electronics, fast from news, social media, but also see if you could have early dinner, see if you could skip dinner or, something like that to create spaciousness within yourself so that the next coming days you can begin to hear your own voice and then you can write those down as some of your intentions or maybe ahas or some things that you want to keep in mind as we go into the next moon cycle. Okay. And do you want to read Brene Brown's quote and maybe share with them how you came across this one?
So this quote is Brene Brown. Many of you probably know who she is at this point. She's quite well known as a researcher of trauma and shame and belonging. And I had I guess I would say the privilege of working with her on one of her first productions when she began her public speaking career. And one of the things that she said at that talk was this thing that she called her boundary mantra. And it stayed with me ever since. It's very simple. It just says, choose discomfort over resentment. Choose discomfort over resentment. So I encourage you to write that one down and put it somewhere that you can remember it and come back to it again and again.
Okay. So let's I just have a couple more things to say and I will come over, Chris, to your side so that I can hear what you're saying, or you can maybe come this way, but we'll make the transition here. So, breaking free from the prison of opinions and approvals. That is the big theme of this new moon. And I've been giving you themes, I've been giving you different things, but I think this is, I was thinking about it. It's like if I were to put it in a short phrase or something, it will be this: breaking free from the prison of opinions and approvals. So it's breaking free from what is expected of you. I mean, that's mainly how we lived, right? What your parents expected of you to do, what your, individually father or mother, or even your school teachers or friends, even, or coaches expected of you. And other things are, expectations that you put on yourself as well. So hold on a sec, everyone. Okay. No, it's not muted, Chris. I don't know what's going on. All right, sorry. I know. I'm coming back to it. Okay. And rather, so like break free from what is expected of you rather than like going along with expectations because at work you're expected to do certain things. If you're 50 something, you're expected to behave the same this way or that way. You're expected to wear certain clothes versus the other things. Or if you're, grandmother, you're supposed to be doing X, Y, and Z. Or if you're a mother, things like that. So see if you could break free of other people's opinions and approvals and find out what truly ignites your light, your inner light. And that's why the new moon is so important because it darkens the external light so that you can get in touch with your inner light. Right? If it's always bright, you wouldn't see. You can't see the contrast enough to see your inner light. And stop explaining yourself to others. Okay. Stop explaining why you couldn't do certain things and stop explaining to others why you're saying no to certain things. Stop explaining to even to yourself even why you have decided to speak up about certain things. Okay. And this is, this whole thing, breaking free from the prison of opinions and approvals means you're going to have to go against the tide, going against the majority, the standard. and defy conventions. And, you may have to deviate from your conditioned mind, conditioned beliefs, and your old patterns. So it's time to break free from all that, and this is the greatest time to do it. I really love new moon in Libra because it just kind of balances us from the darkness to the light and the inner and your outer expressions. They begin to balance within you, the upper body, the lower body, the right side, the left side, what's in front of you, what you have left behind. So it's a quite a beautiful time. And I also think because it's a new moon, this kind of action that you're going to be taking after when you start to see the little sliver of that light, it's a quiet beginning to a revolution from within. I was thinking about it. I was just like, what is this time that we're entering into? This is the quiet beginning to a revolution from within, and it's reclaiming your inner authority and self-worth. And this is a necessary foundation for being able to act effectively in the world to create broader changes around you. But you can't create the broader changes and create the broader, the world around you to be more in harmony. You are not harmonized within. Okay. So it's a quiet beginning for you to go inward for a revolution from within. Okay. And remember that your worth isn't measured by approval or thumbs up. Okay. Maintaining peace for everyone. And so break free from that and see if you can belong to yourself and find a balance within you. And if you've been feeling like little lopsided, or you feel like you're tripping over something only with one foot, I've noticed that too. Like I just tend to have this like a for the last several days, my right foot has been so funky. And just like I'm tripping over something just with the right foot. So I'm like, okay, attend to that. What is going on there? I have an old injury from that car accident injury on my right foot. So I technically know why that is, right? But what is that trying to say to me? What is it that my ankle is trying to say? And what is my foot trying to say to me? That's what I'm going to sit with too. And I don't need to look for answers. I just need to sit with it, sit with the spaciousness. And we're being guided to follow and listen to your own inner knowing and inner wisdom and what you know to be true right now. And stop putting your soul's journey on hold for the sake of balance and harmony for others and everybody else. And being accepted, trying not to create waves, trying to be included. You spend so much time doing that you stop your soul's journey. Don't do that. Okay. Meet yourself halfway. Okay. During this next several days, meet yourself halfway. Your soul and you are not separate, but oftentimes we live separately from your soul and you. So meet each other halfway between expectations and your desires and come to that point of that stillness where you can let go of all that and allow the possibilities to come in for this next round of the moon cycles. Okay. And last thing is that you want to definitely work on your kidneys during this time. The new moon time is so important that, dark moon into the new moon, kidneys. And the easiest way to address kidneys is to make fists, because light fists, your fists are the size of your kidneys, by the way. So this is basically your kidney size. And then you bring it right behind you, that kind of a curvature part of your back, and you can tap it or rub it. And that's how you can stimulate your kidneys. Yeah. And another way that you can balance your kidneys, because kidneys are so interesting. The one kidney can be completely gone. Okay. I learned this from a kidney specialist when I first started working with doctors and clients that in the hospitals and things. And it was 25 years ago, but she said, did you know, Masami, the one kidney can be completely not working anymore But the other one, if it's 20% still working, you still can operate. And I thought, holy cow, kidneys are amazing. Okay. But you want to make sure that you are not, burdening one kidney over the other so much. So you bring your hands to your hips, okay, the crest of the hips, rest your hands on the crest of the hips. And then if you go to the back, your thumbs will touch right in that area between, so there's some muscles there, okay? And it gets to be a little bit tight in that region, and it'll sit right kind of near the kidneys, a little bit lower than the kidneys. That's a great spot to massage. You might actually feel like that feels a little tight for you, okay? So that's a great region to attend to during this time. What we thought maybe we'll do is we are going to turn off the recording and we'll go to the top of the hour, and so that if you have something you want to share, because I know many of you are very shy and you don't want to raise your hand and be recorded on a YouTube for the YouTube world to watch. So we're going to just turn off the recording. So thank you everyone on the YouTube land for joining me, and please subscribe and join my email list, and I will see you in my next video.